The Infinity system! That got sprung on us rather unexpectedly with the last update. But hey, it's here now, and you can even out points if you want to. Do this and your stats and attributes will improve. That's pretty cool. But I think for most of us, we're not really sure, or maybe we don't remember what's good and what's not. For example, do I want half an extra point of signature damage for 1 point, or maybe getting 0.1 brutal strike chance for 3 points is better, or there's some attack speed, or, well, attributes cost 25 points, those are good, right? So, what I want to do here is make a general sort of guide to give you some ideas on which infinity nodes have higher returns, which ones are worth going for first. Now, in my opinion, the single most valuable node is over here, Time Gem, Temporal Loophole. Now, if you put 25 points into this, you get 25% attack speed and 25% move speed. You can see, I just went from 0 attack speed to 21.1. So this node has basically covered me for all the attack speed I will need. I don't really need to get it from any of this stuff that I equip over here. And that's rather nice when you can just get this out of the way without needing to get attack speed from your kit. And on top of that, the move speed is actually a rather underrated bonus. This is your default move speed. Notice I'm not going anywhere very quickly. With 25% though, that is a very, very notable difference. When you think about it, this is actually a defensive node also, because when you can move this fast, it's that much easier to get out of the way of attacks. You're not going to be as reliant on your dashes and teleports quite as much. So that's rather nice. Now, for the other really big returns, you're going to want to go over to your powers tree. You're going to want to look at this column on the right here, talents and traits, and this left one. Then each of these is going to be an archetype, and it's going to tell you that you get 4% extra damage from 2 attributes. Now, for me, a Scarlet Witch, that's energy and intelligence. There is one exception to this, and that is Taskmaster. It gets 1.5% from all attributes. Now, for the other 62 heroes though, what's a really good return is if you go to find your attribute and you put exactly 6 points into it. Now the reason for 6 points is because of this text over here on the left. In every single gem, for each one that has 150 points into it, you get +1 to all attributes. So if I go ahead and click accept, you can see I did not just get 6 energy, I also got a 7th energy and +1 intelligence. So really, I didn't get just 6 attributes that go toward my archetype, I really got 8 for the same price. So 8 attributes, that's 32% base damage. That translates to the equivalent of 1,280 flat damage to every single attack you do. That makes a pretty big difference. So getting that for your 2 attributes is a very good return. Now, some of the other notes you want to keep in mind. Mind over matter and superhuman, because these are flat bonuses. You can see I have 0 brute chance right now. Under 50 points, 5% flat chance, it's 5% now. And the same for Mind Over Matter. If I put 200 points in here, I get a nice flat 5%. It's 18 now, was 13. And the reason why those are really good is because Critical Hit and Brutal Strike have diminishing returns. As these start to get higher and higher, it gets harder to raise them, what you get out of it in terms of percentages. So getting those flat bonuses, especially as you get better and better kit, can make a very big difference. Usually what you want to do is you want to get to about 50% chance for each. And if these can help you get that, that's a pretty big deal. Now, the other big damage node is going to usually be this one, Strike Through, for 75% brutal damage. That's a flat amount, by the way. 302, 378. There's some decibels involved, clearly. But that extra 75% brutal damage is a little bit better than the critical counterpart Mental Focus here. It's the same cost, but you only get 30% out of it. So, down here. It's a little bit less for what you get out of it. Now, the other damage node to look up is, what about this one, potency? You don't really want to get more than at most 150 points in here for most heroes, not just to get your attributes. And the reason for that is because with 150 points, this is 75% base damage. It's only base damage. So you can see that's only added about 4,000 in this case. That's not very good for a bonus to exactly one skill that most heroes only use maybe once every 20 to 30 seconds. It's not going to be very impactful. This is like a little bit of a trap for most heroes. And I know there's sort of the question of, well, what about heroes that scale off of their resource, like say Deadpool or if your Scarlet Witch for having more energy is a good thing? Is this any good? The answer is that yes it is, and you probably want to get this sooner rather than later. Probably, just going off the top of my head, rough estimate, probably after your attributes maybe, or maybe even before them. So what if you want defensive nodes? Space Gem is usually the best place to get it. If you're building a bit tankier, you have some defense, Micro Warps is pretty worthwhile, because this is a flat bonus. You can see this goes from 22 to plus 98. Pretty big difference. If you're not, then Gravity Well is actually a pretty good option as well. Because you can see, for 150 points to satisfy my +1 attributes, get a little damage out of it, why not? You can watch my health goes from 7,400 to over 12,900. That's about 5,500 points there, which is a pretty significant amount. So hopefully that sort of provides you with a good starting point on what sort of to look for and what nodes are very worthwhile. They give you a little more return.